I'm sorry. I missed it. I'm so sorry. This is so
just keep
embarrassing.
going. Keep going.
Hello and welcome back to Always Off.
This could
She's
be
our host, Summer Jubileer.
We have 260 some. This could be our best open ever.
This is the first time I've ever done this.
There's a first time for everything. Summer, go.
Let's turn the music back up.
Can we restart?
Why? This is so good.
Anyways, welcome back to Always Off Brand. I'm your fumbling co-host, Summer Jubileer, along with Scott Oshman. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Summer.
We got the whole crew here with Haley Brucker. Haley in the news.
Woohoo! It's Friday. We're all together. I'm so happy.
So happy. I just have to say, like, I don't know why as women we do this. So I have basically like a family reunion tomorrow. My niece is graduating in Sacramento. So a bunch of us, like everyone's going to go celebrate her. And I haven't seen this family, like a lot of family in a while. So I'm like, I'm going to start testing out like self-tanner. I'm going to start like, it's in California. I'm going to be like, I'm going to start doing things.
For Sacramento today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I come home Sunday. It's super quick.
Wow.
And then I'm like, I should, get my hair done. You do all the things, you get your nails, all these things that women do. And then I was like, I should get my eyebrows tinted. So I go yesterday to get my eyebrows tinted. I'm so embarrassed for anyone watching. So I look like I have two caterpillars crawling across my face right now.
It's okay. Hey, as I've told you, the YouTube is killing it. We get 7.5 to 8 views per episode.
We're about to hit 50 because this is so embarrassing.
You're all going to want to see your brows.
But I
need the second she came on camera, did you not say something?
Haley sure did. Because you can't not see them. You can't.
I'm not laughing at you, Summer, because I have too been there where I'm a ginger and I'm always trying to mess with my brow color. So I get it. But why do
I? So here's what I learned. So I was like, that's weird. It's really dark. It's not normally that dark. She's like, oh, well, are you using self-tanner right now? I was like, yeah. She's like, it's sticking to your skin with the self-tanner. So like normally they wipe off the dye and it's just the hair. So for any ladies listening, if you're scrambling to get ready to go out of town and you want to make a really good impression, maybe do your eyebrows a few weeks ahead of time.
Can't you just wash them really good with like...
Oh, thanks, Haley. I was bleeding last night with how hard I was scrubbing on my eyebrows to try to get this off. Bleeding. Yeah, and lots of pieces were falling off. I'm like, am I going to have eyebrows after this?
You're going to wipe them right off the map. Oh,
yeah, that would be better.
Yeah, you would love that, wouldn't you, Scott?
That would be fantastic. I mean, again, I have no room to talk eyebrows. If I didn't have these glasses on, literally, they might reach the camera. I've got a Lloyd Bridges situation, which nobody knows, but I got to take the clippers. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I just want to point out. So I've done my hair, I've done my nails, I've got a self-tanner, blah, 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 blah. Matt woke up.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
You know what? I know you don't like Beyonce, but one of the greatest lines of Beyonce, flawless. I woke up like this, flawless.
I woke up like this, we flawless.
Exactly.
Right? They have it so freaking easy.
They do.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I agree. It's horrible.
So
how are you going to transition to our guest?
I don't know. I was going to try and do that just now.
Her eyebrows don't look like mine, so let's bring her on.
We're a little tight on time today, kids. So we're gonna tighten up. That was a great story, though. We didn't talk about who had a story. I was gonna just goof on you because you made breakfast one time that you told me about recently.
I made it this morning too.
Did you really? Oh my God, is this new? Is this
I'm about to get the title of Stepford Wife? Watch out!
Is this a new thing?
Oh man,
don't get
now. I am gonna come over to record one early morning.
Do it.
Okay, let's bring to the YouTube stage, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, we are on YouTube. I just have to mention that. It's called Always Off Brand. Yes, top 10 retail. This guest actually has a podcast that shares our top 10-ness in many, many polls. Let's bring her to the stage here, and I will start the music. We got to get it going on. Oh, yeah, you got to let it sink in. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the AOB studios. I literally saw this woman moderate a panel, and I'm like, she is funny. She's entertaining. She's smart as a whip. I gotta get to know. Who is this lady? She's not only the CEO founder of MikMak, which everybody knows what that is. She is the co-host of the Brave Commerce podcast. with Sarah Hofstetter, the president of Profitero. Shout out Mike Black. Ladies and gentlemen, to the stage, Rachel Tipograph.
Woo-woo! Welcome, Rachel.
Hello.
I don't know if your listeners know how talented you guys are at podcast production. The fact that this is all happening live, the music, the intros, like I have a podcast and this is not how it works. So I am blown away.
Why, thank
We're
you.
Spoiled. We're spoiled.
We are. Scott's the best.
Yeah, well, we have sound effects you haven't heard yet. There you go.
He also just put himself out there on LinkedIn. He's looking for more podcasts to
Yes,
produce. So
that
let's
I
sell
am.
his services here since you've made such a compliment.
Yeah, come join the Quickfire Podcast Network.
I love it.
And our sister podcast, Brain Driven Brands. Good shout out there. Last episode, actually, Rachel, the psychology of marketing. You love this. It's $100 million marketing sweepstakes from Brain Driven Brands, where AI, which we're going to talk about, we can just start it there. Let's just start there. Okay. She created a game and a faux brands, and they went through all these marketing challenges and see who won. Her and her co-host, Sarah Levinger and Nate Lagos. So quickly, we were talking about what to talk about. And of course, I liked your analogy, your metaphor. I don't know what it was. I had to public education. Talk about where
Arizona
AI
State.
is. Yeah, Arizona State. Come on, hold your laughter. It's the Harvard of the desert. We all know it. Rachel, where are we in your view, like in the thick of things on this whole change?
Yeah. We're recording this in June of 2025, and I just feel like it's January of the year 2000. And for anyone who's working in marketing or commerce or really anything that's the intersection of consumer behavior, we are all working at a record label, and the iPod just dropped, and we have to figure out streaming. And it's going to append everything that we know in this ecosystem. And honestly, it is overwhelming. It feels like a tsunami with the massive.
Yeah, sorry, that was
That's a really interesting analogy.
It
I
is.
haven't thought of that yet, but you're so right.
So I was thinking about this, Rachel, the other day, because I've lived through so I'm a Gen Xer, right? I'm 55, going to turn 56. Hold the applause, Summer. She calls me a boomer all the time. It's so funny. As her eyes go and as she enters aging. Anyway, I was thinking about this. Like, I was around when the internet started, and I was trying to take myself back there. I was around when the iPhone, I'll never forget it. I think it was 2007, 2008. It was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to take myself back there because I'm in the trough of disillusionment, kind of. Now I'm creeping out of it with AI. I use it. I'm trying to lean in. But man, you're right. You are absolutely right. And I don't know what to do. It's almost, you're like so overwhelmed. I'm frozen.
I'm frozen. I was thinking about it. They're doing all these Microsoft layoffs. My husband works at Microsoft, and he's like, we are on the verge of our jobs will not exist in 10 years. If we do not know how to use AI and use it well, we will not have a job. And he's over here building agents. One agent's talking to another agent. And I'm sitting here like, I feel like I'm watching The Matrix right now, like live.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
So what is your advice for people in our industry who want to be successful and have a job in 10 years? What do you suggest they start doing right now?
Become a practitioner. If you look at anyone who succeeded in e-commerce, in search, in social, they're not talking heads. They were hands-on keyboard folks. Mm-hmm. And so just like your husband, that's what we all need to be doing. This week, I sat next to one of my most talented engineers. All of our engineers use Cursor now. And I was just watching what he was doing.
What's Cursor? Again, we explain all the most humdrum things.
It's like Copilot. It essentially codes for you.
If we could say Copilot, that would really help the Microsoft stock. That would be great.
Yeah. So, it's very similar to your interactions with an environment like ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever you're using, Gemini. You're using English. In this case, he's using technical English.
Right.
And it codes right in front of you in real time. It checks the code. It corrects for any errors. It reads your historical code base to build on
I
top
love
of your
that.
code. And I said to him, his name's Clement. I said, Clement, how long would this task have normally taken you? And he told me 10 hours. I sat next to him for 3 minutes.
Okay. But at some point, the output of that is only as good as the original input.
Yeah. Crap data in, crap data out. So yeah, I mean, foundationally, you know, and I spend all my time working with Fortune 1000 companies where where they are, and I know some of you work at those types of places, is one, governance. That's first and foremost at the forefront of all of their minds. And then the second is essentially cleaning their data so it can start to operate in this new world. My thought around all that is by the time that corporate America figures that out, it's going to be whacked in the face.
Yeah. Because they're so slow to catch on to things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is happening right now? I've never experienced anything like it in my life. The speed of change and innovation is unprecedented.
And that's the change. If I look back, I was talking about it, if I think back to all the big moments, it was a slow boat. And if you look back in hindsight, right, take the 800,000 view or whatever, this is happening at such a pace that's what honestly scares the shit out of me as somebody who's, you know, I mean, I don't have much left, Rachel, you know what I mean? Let's just be honest. I mean, I don't know where it's going. But okay, so first of all, could you explain what MikMak does real quick? Probably better than anybody else on this side.
So MikMak, it's a software company that I started nearly 11 years ago, which is wild. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you were you were so ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
thank you.
But it's good and bad, right? Sometimes, because so much of this is timing and we can get into that. But what we do is we work with really big brands and we help them make all of their consumer touch points shoppable. So whether it's Meta, TikTok, Google Search, CTV, their brand website, their mobile app, now even environments like ChatGPT, and we connect those consumer touch points to 8,000 retailers and marketplaces around the world. So if you're a company like Procter & Gamble or L'Oreal or Mattel, and you want to understand how your investments in channels like Meta or TikTok or your website are driving sales at places like Amazon, Target, Walmart, Ulta, Sephora, Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, you name it, we're the platform that you turn to answer those questions. So,
see, there you go. You got a hallelujah.
Yeah. And to, Summer, your comment, we were ahead of the market. Words like retail media did not exist 11 years ago.
Omni-channel. I mean, Scott and I and Haley, we talk about silos all the time. It's like you have your Walmart, you have your Target, you have your brick and mortar, you have like everything separate. And look, you see Amazon sales are up and return is so good. And you're not giving any credit to these other channels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had that conversation this morning. We were talking about meta ads and the halo and all those things with our marketing department. And one of the biggest topics of our conversation was our meta metrics look like crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But our Amazon ROAS is looking amazing. So how can we connect those dots? I think you just answered my question.
Yeah, hit me up.
What perfect timing. And I'm sure I'm not the only one having those conversations on Friday morning. Everybody in our space has those same conversations with their CMO. Like, hey, where's the attribution? Well, here at the AOB, what do we call it, Scott? What do we call it, Summer?
It's attra bullshit because we haven't figured it out yet. But you just saw live customer acquisition right there. You're listening to customer acquisition right now on your phone, wherever you're listening or watching. So Rachel, let's get to that. I joked about that a year and a half ago or whatever, because everybody's, and again, MikMak, I mean, there's a lot of really smart people figuring this out, and there's a lot of great tech, and I think AI is going to help this. Where are you on attribution? Because this is the biggest struggle of all organizations, actually of all size. They want to put a dollar in and know exactly where their dollar came out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, while that's a wonderful dream, it will never be a reality.
I know, yeah.
Because not because of technology, because we live in a capitalistic world, and all of these companies are competing against each other.
Yeah.
And so they make it impossible for us to ever live in a world of what you're describing, deterministic one-to-one attribution.
Right.
And so you take that, we live in a capitalistic world, Apple's competing for the same dollars that Meta is, that Amazon is, that Walmart is, that Google is. Then you layer it with a lot of variations and changes in data privacy, especially as you operate globally. And then just the continued fragmentation of the customer journey. And now what's happening in the industry is everyone's kind of accepted that deterministic attribution is unfortunately not possible.
Right.
And the industry is now swinging back to something that isn't so new to all of us, which is probabilistic attribution, which is the way MMMs and MTAs have operated for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Multimedia. What's the multimedia mix? We explain acronyms. The MMA.
Yeah. So your media mix modeling.
Media mix modeling. Yes.
Where essentially you're taking all of your media investments and all of your sales data, because the reality is, like, brands say that they're data poor, but they're not. They're actually just operating in silos, and they don't know who to call to get their Walmart POS data, but it's there. And so it's the art of combining your sales data, whether it's from your retail partners or direct, with your media investment data, building a model that takes into account inflation, weather patterns, GDP, like whatever the variables are that you think impacts your customer, using lots of historical data to then project, hey, when we invest in connected TV, this is what it does for our sales in environments like Walmart. Now, the big evolution is that you usually say the words like MMM to any marketer and they cringe, because it's very painful to build those models. It requires a lot of manpower, a lot of different internal departments, sometimes agency partners. It looks backwards instead of forwards. By the time that you get the data, it's irrelevant. And so there's been this new generation of companies that I would put MikMak into, which essentially augments your MMMs, or in many ways even competes with them, because it's real-time purchase-based signals. And, you know, this is just me sort of tooting the MikMak horn, but don't think that MikMak is.
Please do. Please MikMak it up.
But, you know, no MMM would have told you on January 19th that TikTok was going to go dark. No MMM was going to tell you on February 28th there was going to be a consumer boycott because of DEI issues. I share this because we live in a highly dynamic world, and marketers today need to operate in a world of real-time probabilistic measurement.
Oh, say it louder for the kids in the back.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know, we have to be reactive in more scenarios than not. Sure, we can have our strategies and we can have these bigger picture ideas, et cetera. But yes, we do. We have to be reactive.
Yeah. And you, from a P&L standpoint, you know, at organizations of the ones that you guys work at, I know it's extremely challenging to do that. And talk to a lot of people on the media side, and they're like, listen, we agree with what you're saying, but we're locked in to these, you know, crazy annual spend agreements with Amazon, with Meta. And so, like, we can't really make real-time optimizations and shift dollars out of one platform into another. I think all of that is just going to become undone over the next few years.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting when you have companies like Amazon that are just buying more and more content. You know, Scott loves to talk sports. And were you going there? Did I take
No,
your
I wasn't
your
going
thunder?
there. No, I wasn't going there. Go ahead. You go.
Well, first party data is so important to have to make faster decisions. We have an MMM, but it's like every time we have it, it's 6 months ago. When I meet with Amazon, I can see what Wondery is doing. I can see what Goodreads. There's just Alexa. There's so much that they're participating in that they own that we can see the path of purchase. So when I get an opportunity and they're like, hey, if you have $1 million, where are you putting it? I can trust more of the Amazon data than I can I know why you're laughing. I can trust the Amazon data more than I can any other data because I have more touch points. But the MMM is so great because it gives you an overall view. But like you're saying, when you need to pivot quickly, you can't wait 6 months to get the data.
Well, are we that the only thing is, you know, the bare naked ladies. If I had $1 million, tell you what I'd do. I'd buy more MikMak. Make more money too. Anyway,
Good job.
Thank you. I had to make that up. Okay, so where we're going is, are we like, so Rachel, are we just chasing everybody around? We're gonna get into the other thing, but I mean, the data, right? Are we just chasing the consumer as the consumer is just constantly changing, shifting, going, you know, what are we doing?
I mean, that always has been the case, right? Like as a marketer or brand builder, you need to be where the consumer is.
But there's just so many more choices, is there not?
100%.
Or is it still pretty much the same?
There's a lot of fragmentation, but when you boil it down, there's a handful of companies that really are controlling the whole ecosystem.
I agree.
And so, while it can feel overwhelming, it really comes down to a handful of platforms. Like at any given day at MikMak, Meta represents 50% of our traffic.
Yeah.
Our traffic is entirely reflective of our customers' media plans.
Yeah.
So Meta's number one, Alphabet's number two, which is search, YouTube, DV360, then TikTok. And then after that, depending on what verticals you play in, things start to shift.
Yeah.
And so the big new thing, though, is Microsoft rising back with OpenAI and potentially a handful of other platforms could become the next walled gardens. But we're still talking about like 10 companies, no matter what, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, how's MikMak positioned as far as the discovery side? I mean, how people are searching and researching, is that?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of my favorite things that I like to do at the end of each year, Spotify comes out with their Spotify Wrapped. It's like, you listen to. What I do is with my team, we pull all of MikMak's traffic sources across our 2,600 brand customers. And I like to see who appears in the top 50 each year.
Ooh, yeah.
For the most part, it's pretty consistent, but every year you start to see some fall in and some rise to the top. Last year, two sources that had never appeared in our top 50 before, ChatGPT and DuckDuckGo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's still around?
Oh, that's the preferred web browser for Gen Z.
Oh my God, I feel like such an
No
idiot.
way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because of the no cookies and no tracking portion of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the answer is, the consumer is starting to shift. And then just in calendar year 2025, from January 1 to literally yesterday, because we just refreshed the data, we've seen a 250% increase of MikMak being discovered in ChatGPT, which we only get discovered if our customers get discovered.
Right.
So it's showing the massive shift in the customer journey.
That's so interesting.
We're going to take a quick break. Let's take a break. And then I do want to talk about what your view is on social commerce, because I think you have probably one of the most profound experts in your viewpoint on this, on where we are, where we're going when we come back.
This is John Durkitz, Chief Commercial Officer of Colormore Lines, and you're listening to Always Off Brand.
Welcome back. Rachel Tipograph, our guest here today on Always Off Brand. So Rachel, we were talking about, we were kind of leaning towards social commerce. We were getting there. Where are we? I mean, live shopping, obviously Asia's been doing it forever. You know, TikTok shop, I can tell just from the little people we work with, it's starting to percolate a little. If you have the right product, the right thing outside of beauty, it's evolving is my point. So where you see this, you're like the best person to ask. Where are we?
So social commerce has certainly matured, but it really depends on where you are in the world. And so I think the first place to start is to dispel the myth that what works in China can work here in the US or in the Western part of the world. And, social commerce has been a big part of China's culture for 15 plus years. And the reason why because of the government structure that they live in.
Yeah.
Right? Lack of freedom of speech requires people to turn creative in their private lives to connect one-on-one with each other. And that's why in China, social media is really about connecting peer-to-peer, as opposed to think about the Western world, where it was actually much more similar to Hollywood, right? Where we're seeking these aspirational experiences in our life to be inspired, right? That's why we open up Instagram or we open up TikTok to get educated on something that we're super passionate about.
Yeah.
That's not what it is in China. And so I share that because literally people also have to get creative with commerce in China because of how the government controls everything. And if you think about the US, like we have huge banking institutions that are highly commercialized. And in China, you have the government as your bank, or you had to build your own infrastructure to do commerce on a peer-to-peer level. And that's why you go to an environment like China and you have people live streaming from their closet, hawking products from their closet in a very lo-fi way, and it works.
8块钱2斤，再加2斤，再加2斤，8块钱6斤，上车，来喽来喽。
This woman just sold 18 items over the span of a minute, each averaging 3 seconds per item, and none of them are too expensive.
That shit doesn't work here in the US unless you're selling limited edition Nikes or hot Chanel bags.
Yeah.
Right.
No one wants my sweatshirt.
Although it looks lovely. Listener, she's wearing a really nice, it looks cozy as hell. It looks really
It's a MikMak sweatshirt.
Oh,
But
the
anyway,
YouTube hits we're going to have on this one are going to be so high.
Yeah.
12.
But so the first thing that I just want to dispel is the difference between Eastern social commerce, which is much more peer-to-peer, and then Western social commerce that's actually one-to-many, right? Think about creators. Think about media companies that are aspirational. That's a one-to-many environment.
Yeah.
Now the infrastructure has evolved, right? Like it's more frictionless. There's obviously native checkout, and then you now have TikTok shops. What I can tell you, because I've literally been doing this for the last 15, or maybe I'm almost going on 20 years of my career playing in this space, is in the Western part of the world, if you are looking to go from inspiration to sale, it's a high price point item or it's a limited edition item. It is not your regular toilet paper.
Right.
And so I share that because in the Western part of the world, social absolutely influences sales. Social absolutely helps you basket build.
Yeah.
But who's going to get credit for that end transaction? Either Amazon or Walmart or Google. Like you're playing in more of a last click world because you're going to go add many things to your cart before you check out. So I think that's just a big thing. And then TikTok Shop. So I have plenty of customers on TikTok Shop. We work within that environment. Listen, it's amazing, but it's extremely laborious. Yeah. So you are setting up essentially an entirely new D2C channel. So from an infrastructure standpoint, and then to drive demand in that type of environment, it requires 24/7 creator programming. So you need to be operating a live newsroom at all times. It's not a one-hit wonder. And then you got to pay. You got to pay for ads that goes beyond a different sort of TikTok environment. And then you got to pay in the affiliate game.
It's a ton of work.
It's an enormous amount of work. And then if you talk to any of the people who are like some of the top brands within TikTok Shop, it's a channel shift. It's the customer moving away from D2C into TikTok Shop. No one has said it's an incremental customer yet. The other benefit of TikTok Shop is that it's a marketing channel.
Yeah.
It's not a sales channel, it's a marketing channel because it absolutely has halo effects on the other retail environment. So if you talk to, again, anyone who's invested in TikTok Shop over the last 2+ years, what they have now realized is when you have a net new SKU, you'll launch it on TikTok Shop first, because then 2 weeks later, you can see the halo effect in environments like Amazon, Walmart, Sephora, Ulta, you name it. So I share this because if you're going to go invest in TikTok Shop and you think of it as a sales channel, you're going to set yourselves up for failure.
Yeah.
if you set it up as a marketing channel that needs a 24/7 live newsroom and a creator affiliate program, you can be successful.
And I always think because I have to live in this world, it's so hard from a regulatory perspective, right? If you're in the wellness space, there's only so many things you can say, and you can't control what these influencers are saying when it's live, and that puts yourself at risk. So it's a tricky balance for a lot of brands.
100%. Like what you're hitting on is the biggest challenge from one you talked about from a regulatory standpoint, but the other is sort of the brand safety, brand alignment. For my customers that are in luxury, they are not comfortable with a majority of the creators that they really need to engage with to be successful in that channel. So yeah, it's a tough environment.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, right now AI is causing me problems, Rachel, and I know you got on the show to hear about my problems. It's because AI is just every day. It's right. Today's the dumbest it's ever going to be, but it's going out to the interwebs and it's getting junk. It's getting gobbledygook and then putting it on our Amazon images because it's just going out there and putting it together. And brands don't like that because it's not within brand guidelines. It's picking the wrong product. It's doing all that, but back into the social commerce. My thing that's interesting to me, what Amazon did, which I think which is why they are what they are, is they collapsed the traditional funnel, right? You could go from discovery, and it's not as much like that now because there's other discovery, but you went from discovery, you went all the way from Summer full funnel Jubilee, she loves a full funnel, down to I could buy the stuff. And it was closed loop, and you could see what was going on, you could tell exactly where it came from. That's what I think social commerce, if it could get there, I don't know if it will, where you go discovery, you're influenced, blah, blah, and bam. I mean, Instagram does that a lot. The consumer doesn't understand the back end, what's going on,
right?
As far as that. So I don't know. That's where I think, I don't know if TikTok Shop is the one, Meta Shop. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing is for many, it's not profitable because the behavior is to buy single SKU. And in e-commerce, that often doesn't work.
Dead.
And we already know this from Amazon's P&L, like their physical goods business is not profitable, right? The profit comes from like AWS and all these other places. Advertising. And so I think that's the tough myth that people need to let go of is if you want to drive a profitable sale, that's actually not the consumer behavior that you want.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know.
Good tips.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, now getting into org charts, because again,
we're completely shifting gears. No, it's not a bad thing. I just want to prepare those listeners.
Yeah, we're shifting gears.
Totally shifting gears.
We're moving on, kids. Okay, we're moving on. We got Rachel here. We got to get to it. So when I first was aware of you again at the Great Salsify Digital Shelf Summit in New Orleans, which God, that was so much fun. I too moderate stuff. I'm a moderator, and you moderated this great panel of all the high Colgate, Palmolive, all the big guys, all the big CPGs, HP, I think it was. Anyway, and you had this great question, and I love how you moderate. Okay, you're my kind of moderator. You engage. It's like a conversation. It feels great. It's entertaining and educational. Laugh and learn. The question you put to them is, where should e-commerce sit in an org chart? And where you poised your opinion or what your point of view was, and it was fantastic. Could you repeat that, please?
Well, so in the series of the discussion, we went through a few different themes of what was happening in the industry. And ultimately, my panelists, because I was the moderator, I felt like what they communicated is e-commerce should sit in sales. My argument was, if you look at everyone's earnings over the last year, volume sales are down. Mm-hmm. How do you drive volume sales? You drive volume sales by increasing demand. Who owns increasing demand? Marketing. And so my ultimate thesis is that marketing and sales does collapse. Essentially, it lives under one person who may have the title Chief Growth Officer. And that's where it ultimately needs to sit. But I believe that if we continue to put e-commerce within sales, we will continue to see that volume sales are down.
Yeah.
And if we continue to over-index all of our spend in an environment like retail media because there's stronger attribution, I also don't believe that increases volume sales. What we're doing is we're actually cannibalizing our organic sales opportunity by over-indexing in that environment. And so
God, that is, hold on. I got to give you 2-3 bells. I need a hallelujah. I need all kinds of stuff. That was what you just said is so amazing. That's so smart. That is so right. God, what a trap. Go on. Sorry, I had to just fanboy you there for a second.
But a lot has to change for what I am saying to come true. Now, what I have noticed is that private equity backed companies, like they could be 1 to 10 billion in revenue, you're actually seeing that role come to life, right? They're more nimble. They understand that their business is in service of driving growth, and they're re-architecting the organization to get behind that. Within these large publicly traded companies, I recognize how difficult this is, but I just believe we're perpetuating this motion that's existed for the last 50 years, which is to make Walmart happy, to make Target happy, not strategically ask ourselves, what do we need to do to drive volume sales? And then organizing the company around that.
Yeah.
Because silos equal sadness, Rachel. And that's what we've said here for a long time. And there's also that get deeper into incentive, right? When I go work with companies, or I've seen my own life working with, if you don't have collective consensus and incentive between these departments, then everybody's just doing their job. They're doing what they got to do to get the most they can get. Right? They need their number to hit their number.
Yeah, I think where it gets tricky too is when you keep it separate. The sales team has their goals, and then the e-com team has theirs. And the sales team does not benefit from e-com sales doing well. So you create this like almost bitterness of the sales team being like, I don't want you having this Prime Day deal. I don't want you doing like, this doesn't help me if you grow, because it actually takes away from me. And I think that is not a recipe for success, especially when we're constantly talking about Gen Z and the culture that you're trying to create at a company and how important that is. You got to think about it.
Yeah. And to even add an extra layer of complexity to that, in my experiences, e-com sits on even more of an island because marketing feels a little threatened because you aren't necessarily like, you need their resources, but your P&L is owned by sales.
Mm-hmm.
And then sales feels a little threatened because, okay, Prime Day, let's use that as an example. Oh, well, we're going to drop our prices 20% on a select number of items for Prime Days or Walmart July deal days. And now these sales guys are getting calls of, hey, distributor ABC says that the price online is lower than their current cost. So you've got those objections. And then you've got us on the little e-com island. There's no margaritas on the e-com island right now. Can we vote for that? Because I think there should be. And so as we look at that, okay, now, so we're getting pressure to grow revenue volume. We're getting pressure to drive this demand. And so where are the majority of our resources coming from? That to me has been a question. Like, okay, well, we need marketing, but we need the sales support. So maybe that chief growth officer, like what you said, Rachel, is kind of the ticket here to have a bridge created to your island.
Somebody's got to own the big spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And if you look at organizations that have been outperforming within their category, so I would look at Colgate-Palmolive, I would look at Danone, I would look at Mattel. They actually have a structure that's pretty similar to what I described.
That's great. That's great.
Great tip.
That's a great place to end it, because we have a game show to play, Rachel. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have a game show sweeping the globe. What's that keyword? We got to change this to ChatGPT. I don't know. What's that prompt engineer? We got to change the game. This game is stale now. It's old. But we're going to try it one more time when we come back.
Hi, my name is Daniela Volsman. I'm the founder of MindfulGoods.co, and you are listening to Always Off Brand.
Finally, a game show nerdier than an Excel V lookup. It's time for What's That Keyword? Here's your host, Haley on the news.
Awesome. All right. Well, we cannot use ChatGPT to play What's That Keyword today. However, Rachel stuck around to play. Since you're new here, I'll lay down the rules. I'm going to give you a product that is sold on Amazon.com. You have to guess the keyword or keyword phrase that was typed in to buy this product. So which keyword or key phrase converted? All right. Your first product are some grilling gloves.
Oh, can I go first?
Grilling gloves. Summer, you totally go first.
You know what
I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
Father's Day gift.
All right. Who else has something?
Barbecue gloves.
Okay. Scott.
Smoking gloves.
Smoking gloves.
I'm bad at this, Rachel. If you can't tell, I'm really bad at this game.
Yeah, I might be a while ago.
Summer, you won the What's That Keyword? I was looking for Father's Day gifts.
Really?
But you guys have to look at this image.
Sherlock. Jesus Christ. I could have guessed that one.
I know, it was a dead giveaway. That was the easiest one you've done ever,
I
Haley.
have to make it a little easy, but can anybody see this image on the detail page? Like, I am dying over this.
Who's buying this for their father?
He is holding a flaming piece of wood in his hand.
Wow.
I was close to smoking.
You were.
Where there's fire, there's smoke.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Your next product is men's board shorts.
Oh. Wow. Anyone? Bueller? Rachel, anything?
Men's board shorts.
I'm going to go.
Sorry. I buzzed you.
You're buzzing me before I even
pre
guessed.
buzz. That was a pre.
It's a precursor.
I had 2 boys, and this was a discussion literally last night. Non-chafing shorts.
Ooh, that's a good keyword. Not it, but good.
Rachel?
Bathing suit?
Okay. No, Scott.
Come on, Scott.
Pool shorts.
I was looking for chubbies.
Oh,
chubbies.
Yeah, I love
That's
chubbies.
cool.
They are non-chafing.
Yeah,
I was looking for the word chubbies on a Friday. You guys have to look at this sponsored brand ad.
Love it.
I was trying to find something elephant short based, and then I found this lovely image that I just had to share with the crowd here. So we were looking for Chubby Friday. All right. Thanks so much for sticking around to play another game of What's That Keyword? We'll be back in just a digital second with the news.
I'm Eric Scheinkup, CEO of the Desire Company, and you're listening to Always Off Brand.
Well, that's all been fun and games, but it's that time, the time America has been waiting for. It's time for the news.
All right, so we've talked about AI. Guess what we haven't talked about in a while? Cryptocurrency.
Oh my gosh. I
You know why?
understand it.
I was just gonna say I don't talk about because I don't know what it is. I don't understand.
You know, I think
I'm on the
idea,
blockchain.
right?
I'm on the blockchain, Haley, right now, which I have no idea. I tried to read an article about what it is. I still don't. I don't get it.
Listen, from my understanding, it's like a fake form of money that people are accepting in transactions that it doesn't really exist, right? There's no FTC, there's no FDIC, we just talked about major financial institutions being so integrated into big business, and then, the Chinese government owning their money. Okay, well, holy smokes. Have you heard of Coinbase? So Coinbase, Coinbase is like a Bitcoin. It's a form of cryptocurrency. So it is not governed. It is not, I don't even think it's real. I don't know.
I don't even know.
It's got to be real. People are,
but I don't know anything.
Guess what? Amazon and Walmart are considering taking it as a form of payment.
How?
It also just integrated with Shopify. Amex has integrated with it now. So we're not just talking, this might become a thing. These are major players in our online, and holy smokes, Walmart, like that's a brick and mortar space.
Does this not just sound like an MLM to most people? Because that's what it sounds like to me. But these are big names you're dropping, Haley.
These are huge names. And they're saying that they are, so Walmart and Amazon are considering it because right now, how much do you think they pay in merchant services every month to run credit cards?
$1 billion. And they make a
processing fees are insanely high. It's probably 3 to 5%. I know Amex is one of the higher ones. Do you think it's 3%? Isn't it? Like Visa-ish is 3%.
1.2 to 3. Yeah,
sure. So if they could eliminate that deduction off of their P&L by implementing some sort of cryptocurrency, it's kind of a genius move, but it's also, to me, Scott's face just said it all. You got to watch us on that too.
Show me the money.
I mean, they're going to save billions of dollars.
I just don't understand. Like, if I put $1 in the Coinbase machine, like, what do I have? I mean, it's not backed by any federal. I see. This is my fear. Like the whole AI thing. I'm trying to lean in. I understand this. I had a real thought about how I had an iPhone early and I was like so into it. So I'm intrigued and all that kind of stuff. But my concern is that I wake up one day and I'm like, I don't understand the world I live in.
So they've got some data to back their conversations.
I was just going to say, I was waiting for summer. Summer?
A little confused. Go on.
Listen, I remember when the first iPhone came out that had a camera on it, and I'm thinking, this is stupid. Why do we need a camera on our phone?
God, we're old.
Okay, so let's back it up with some data here. So a company called SimilarWeb did a study.
Oh, yeah.
Walmart and Coinbase share a 2.2% audience overlap.
Oh, wow.
That's considerable overlap. Amazon and Coinbase share a 2.1, so just shy of Walmart. And Coinbase itself sees around 6 million monthly visitors. So if we've got those data points and they run those percentage of people, so 2% of people are more than likely swiping their card, how many processing fees are they paying? How much money could they then save? I don't know. A lot.
Summer?
A lot. No, this is so interesting.
It is.
My mind's blown, and I'm like, it's a small enough risk too, where
is it?
I think so. I think you test it out and see what happens. It's just like running an ad campaign that you don't know if it's going to be successful or not, and you take the risk.
How do they buy it? Do they buy it with real dollars? Like real
doubloons? That's my struggle. And
What's it called again, Haley? What's the coin
Coinbase?
called?
Coinbase. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just was on it. I'm gonna let this shake out a little longer. Is where I sit with this. I'm not against it or anything like that. I just need to see it. You know, the crypto thing, it just hasn't really worked out. I know it's a big deal, and I'm just going to let it shake out and see what happens.
Well, there's a big LinkedIn debate going on about it. So read up.
Okay.
One of the comments here on LinkedIn on the Wall Street Journal ad or the Wall Street Journal article, which is what I'm referencing today. So stable coins are not volatile. They're directly pegged to real currencies. They offer a faster, cheaper, more efficient alternative, instant settlement, 24/7 availability, great tech, and pennies in cost.
Okay, now this I can understand.
That's
I can wrap my brain around that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hundreds of billions of dollars in savings for both parties. But how would the end consumer save money?
Guys, we're gonna do this.
Okay.
Let's do this as always off brand. Let's buy some Coinbase.
Okay.
And then let's go shopping.
Okay.
Wait, is this like Summer's hats, the faux brand? But this is like
let's do it.
Okay. I mean, I got like $5.
I was gonna say 15, but okay.
Oh, let me check what I have on.
Let's go. We'll put $50 in as always off brand.
$50? What are you, crazy? You know what I have in my pocket?
If we do
right
15,
now?
that's 5 each.
I'm showing what I have in my pocket, which is one United States American dollar bill. I used to have some cash on me, but
nobody carries cash anymore. And that's a big thing too, is nobody carries cash anymore. So
I carry cash, but
90% of people at POS are going to swipe a card. So
or
if
put their phone up.
of that 98%
I
or whatever.
with my daughter, and all she does is just put her phone up. All right, that's a good story. Do you have another one, or
No, that's all for today, folks.
I like it. I like it. Coinbase. So we're gonna start an always off brand Coinbase. We're gonna buy some Coinbase and then buy stuff with it. This is actually, I'm in on this. I'm in
Let's
on
do
this.
it. All right.
Figure it out.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back with summer's, most favorite part in the whole wide world. It's the wrap up, folks.
It's John Aspinall, brand evangelist at PickFu, and you're listening and watching to Always Off Brand.
Scott, kudos to you, sir. You brought in the big guns today. Rachel was incredible. She's so insightful. She's thinking big picture. She's thinking 5-10 years down the road. I learned a ton, especially her social commerce. I love the way she preemptively organized, like, here's why it's successful somewhere else. Doesn't mean it's going to be successful here. And if you're going to do it, it is a laborious task.
I love how you
gotta get the bell because you just used the word that we were just talking about. God, don't we all just feel a little smarter?
I do.
100%
in the room.
Yeah, for sure.
All of us looked at like we got some research to do. Like she said some shit that I got to go look up.
Not only that, I looked her up before the show, and I rarely do that because I'm so busy. But this morning I was like, this is a big deal and I need to not F this up.
And you know what?
Good job, because we didn't. I think we rocked it, and she rocked it.
And now she's another person connected with Always Off Brand. Why?
Because people matter, and you are listening to Always
Off
Brand.
Please like, please subscribe, please share. Watch us on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Haley, I'm waiting for it.
Toodaloo.
That's it. That's the out.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.
How to get self-tanner off my eyebrows.
Wait, you can't outsource this?
Oh, God, I wish.
Baby oil exfoliation.
Remember I just said I was going to try some baby oil? I'm going to try that.
Self-tanner remover kit. Baby oil helps break down the tan, while exfoliation helps remove the dead skin cells, or your dead skin cells are gone. You've exfoliated the hell out of those.
I'm not joking. I was bleeding. I have
Avoid
Q-tips.
using harsh chemicals or scrubbing too vigorously.
Okay, I did. They're really sore. I will say that. They're very sore.
Consider using a primer before applying your self-tanner next time.
I didn't know it would stick to the self-tanner.